Hello? I'm sitting in the wrong position. There we go. Hello? I'm John Proxim. Welcome to the Proximity. I'm having a Disco Elysium adventure. I'm still talking to this guy up here.
Oh, wait. There's coffee in the back. Oh, wait. I'm in the mother's love.
Easy to get those two confused. Some ravers might want to turn this place into a nightclub. The ones in the tent outside, right? I seen them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab? Probably scared of me. So, what do you think about the nightclub, that is? Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might even be nice to have some company. He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think. Do you know where the other spooker is? Point at the strange machines around you. Other spooker? Oh, ese vegeta muy estudiasta. He laughs. Dunno, Holmes. I know I ruined the pronunciation of that there. Vegeta is grandma? Wait, so there is another person living in the church and it's a Vegeta? I'm going to say Vegeta. No, I just call her Vegeta because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. He scratches his head. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear. Wait, what if it's Ruby? The Lieutenant seems to be thinking the same. Takes out his little notebook. Did it ever seem to you like she was hiding here from something? You mean like a fugitive? He glances at the abandoned radio computer on the other side of the nave, pulsing with light. Then he shakes his head. No, man, quite the opposite. I don't think she cares much about authority or anything else, for that matter. Maybe only her machines. I see. The Lieutenant seems contented with that answer. Where is she now? Told you, Holmes, I don't know. Right, fair enough. That doesn't seem like her. How can you not know when you both live here? Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We've got different interests. So you've got nothing else to tell me? How she looks, what she looks like, who is she? I'm afraid not, Hesse. You just have to wait until she comes back, or, he shrugs, or search through her radio computer. Okay then, thanks.
Oh, wait.
Okay. Frost has drawn flowers on the glass, obscuring the view. A figure drawn in the frost in the window, depicting a deer. A cracked pane of glass, colourful. Oh no, I'm not supposed to walk, aren't I? A spider spun its web around the wood-carved pillar. How did he get there so fast? Ooh, more Amesk Banger red brogues. What boots am I wearing right now? Perception. How is my perception? I'm pretty sure my perception is pretty good. Empathy. Where's my perception? Hmm. 7. Yeah, I don't need perception boots on. 2 decks of reel-to-reel tape spinning on empty. Portable Harmon Wowshi tape recorder. Is it possible it's recording something? Someone siphoning electrical current from outside to this antenna. This thing. It's a mainframe. Machine stands in the corner, watched over by figures on a stained glass window that's turned on and quivering with soft electricity. Another radio computer, says the lieutenant, stepping closer, and this time it's already turned on. He seems cautious around the machine. We should probably let it be. It's becoming clear that there's no trace of suspect anywhere inside this church. Yes, but this machine looks just like the one in the doomed commercial area. It's also quite similar to the one down at the station. Must be the same model. He inspects the machine's framework. Careful not to touch anything. The one you saw earlier was a REM Civic. This is a REM Prefect. The model number is RC7024, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a REM-compatible interim printer. The REM Prefect is the governmental version of the commonly used REM Civic model. Although mostly based on the same technology, the REM Prefect is equipped with better noise attenuation circuits. Wait, let me just investigate it. Step behind the computer. You see a virescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. Lieutenant says nothing. You see from the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glasses, you're free to proceed. Look inside the compartment. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smouldering in dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in a black marker, Log Feb March. Another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater. Press play. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds 100 years old. It's her again. Good afternoon, Fortress Accident on St. Brune. This is East Insuladian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log? It's the same old woman you spoke with for the radio computer in the doomed commercial area. Yvonne, it's me again. How are you? Good, thank you. It's not clear whether she recognizes your voice. Please repeat. Is this a personal log? I looked inside the core, but the tape on the filament just said Log Feb Mar. Good. Please repeat the password. Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer. Maybe he knows something. The lieutenant nods towards Tiago. I don't know the password. Received. I will register this login attempt. Fortress Accident, is there anything else I can do for you today? Fortress Accident, like the one in the doomed commercial area? I have 2 machines registered to this company name in Martinez, one in St. Brune, the other on the other side of Rue de St. Ghislaine. St. Brune, that's the church. Lieutenant gestures around him, and the Rue de St. Ghislaine, that's the doomed commercial area. Anything else I can help you with? Thanks, I'm finished with this call. Press off and silent. Goodbye, Fortress Accident, she says as her voice disappears into the whirl of static. The machine's keyboard is still illuminated, revealing a virescent play and prints. Let's press print. Nothing happens. Let's leave. Oh, we'll walk, shall we? It's too late now, Van.
Oh, hey, wait. There's coffee in the back. Oh, wait. I meant the mother's love.
Have you, by any chance, heard the Vegeta say the password to her radio computer? Too many times, I say. You need it for something? Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public safety. Safety. Honestly, I just want to break into the radio computer, see what's on it. Don't sweat it, Vato. The password is after life, What do you think of that? Makes me almost pity la lista pequainta when I hear it. Okay, thanks. I think we're done here, I say. The figure crawls off into the darkness above. That was an interesting conversation. However, I'm still not sure whether we'll find our suspect here. Hey, I didn't see this. It's a Meskabanga silk scarf. How is my Inland Empire? You know what? I think I like the Inland Empire better. I like the look of the scarf, but I don't think I need my pain threshold to be higher. And I'm playing for stats. Okay, let's try this again. I think I may have the right password for the personal log. Afterlife death. Good. I've unlocked the filament. After ending the call, please press print to access the filament. Fortress Accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Thanks, I'm finished with this call. Goodbye, Fortress Accident. She says her voice disappears into the whirl of static. Press print. The printer prints out a long text document with dated paragraphs. It looks a bit like someone's journal. Read the printout. First entry made on the 4th of February 51 by an unknown author is short and concise. Arrived at the church, door was boarded up, so I used a crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I'll ask around. Need to figure out how to get the electricity in. Lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder. Just as you finish reading, he looks up, muttering under his breath. 4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while. Do you think this log might be connected to the case? Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local... His eyes wander to the various machines around him. Eccentric? Read the second entry. 6th of February, 51, had a little chat with the local fisherman. Said I shouldn't go near the place, that the church was spooky, and the ridden with narcotics. It's a little spooky, alright. Still haven't figured out the electricity. See? Even one of the spookers themselves says it's unnerving. What was that about our narcotics? This could prove to be interesting. Wait, narcotics? Look around the derelict building. I doubt we can find any. It was just an idle fisherman's gossip to scare away the kids. He looks at the stained glass window. Nothing spooky about this place either. It's just abandoned and cold in an awful part of town. Then why doth Lieutenant protest against spending time here so often? Read the third entry. 7th of February, 51, finally got the electricity in next to the agenda. A new antenna. I'm thinking ESCA series, something advanced. Why would you need an antenna? Why would anyone need any of this equipment here? He steps on the wire running on the ground, inspecting it with his boot. Read the 4th entry. 8th of February, 51, bought the antenna, had some problems setting it up, called Simo for help. Heard the others are back to making art, drinking around out of town. Solis-Slaw? How do I pronounce that L? Look at it, that's like a special L. Started a rock band again. Lexi has been seen asking money from strangers. But at least artists have their act together. They're qualified labour. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design, ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I mean, they're programmers. The writers, though, they're fucked. I have to find out what caused the data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know, everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying. I'm here to set it right. A data loss. Seems like it's something to do with the radio computers. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about them to understand what the author is saying. Something about backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. He adjusts his glasses. Let's just keep reading. Artists, programmers, Lexi, who are all these people? I think these people worked in the radio computer games business. The one we saw in the doomed commercial area. They must be her former co-workers. Yeah, I thought that as well. Read the 5th entry. 12th of February, 51. Bought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on in the harbour. Definitely not happy to see the Martinez people again. Everyone's now set up in the church, going to start working tomorrow at 8 a.m. The strike. He strokes his chin. We're nearing the date of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what this radio anomaly that sent this person here in the first place. Read the 6th entry. 25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss. But nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in the disappointment. But I did discover a curious audio-spatial anomaly at the back of the church. I've named it the Swallow. It's Swallow Sound. We need to get some mics. Is she talking about... The lieutenant looks to his right, towards the silence. Read the 7th entry. 28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recording confirms that the Swallow is real, and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems like the higher I go, the less I record. This might be a coincidence. They can't use it as a nightclub then, because there's going to be no music in the one particular part. Or could it be connected to the data loss that led me here? Pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. She's suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk. But what could it be? Look at the water basins behind you. Lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. The water shines in them. No ripples. Read the 8th entry. March 51. Some kind of young discon men have appeared next to the church. I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter. Now it turns out I've also been capturing the future of dance music. One neo-disco song over and over again. Fortunately, the song is so monotonous that I'm able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say hello, she got scared and left. Good. I don't want anyone distracting me from my work. Disco man, that must be Esele. She must be describing Esele. The girl on the ice. Sounds like her, yes. Read the 9th entry. I got a call from the repeater station. Somebody's tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinez. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still doesn't want to let me inside the building. Thinks I'm some part of some kind of curse. Okay, what's the date today? That's how Martinez... She thinks I'm some kind of curse. How Martinez of her. March 51. What's the date today? I don't know. That's me! I was the one who broke into the radio computer, and the storekeeper must be Placence. I knew it wasn't a good idea to meddle with that machine. Continue. No, it was a great idea. You're learning things. This is how you learn things about machines. Read the 10th entry. March 51. A new 2M AUX cable, noodles, crackers, ping energy drinks, water, toothpaste, gum, and also some canned air. Your reading is interrupted by the sound of the church door opening. Sooner, the programmer. A strange woman makes straight for the radio computer.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
She glares at you as she holds down the off button for several seconds. The machine reboots. Yes, you are breaking in, but not into her radio computer. You're a master circuit bender.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
We're not... okay. I can assure you I'm an expert circuit bender. I'm not breaking into your computer. I'm using it to access coalition military data links. That's a lie, isn't it? But it's a funny one. Hang on. There we go. I don't know which one I want to do. I'm going to do the funny one. I'm using it to access coalition military data links.
There are no coalition military data links. And even if there was, you couldn't access them over a civilian network.
Yes, I could. I'm a cybernetic god. I'm using your REM prefect commandeer the coalition warship Archer. I will turn its cannons against its masters.
That's nonsense. You're just a police officer.
She barely looks up from the keyboard. You hear the machine whirl back
Now,
to life.
please give me some room. I need 2 seconds to see that you haven't destroyed anything.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted the machine.
stained glass window. In the white, silver, and apricot fiancée, I don't know if that's pronounced correctly, the young mother of humanism stands above you. A crack runs across her body. She's impossibly tall, overfaced and sad, a dark and radiant majesty. This is her innocence, Dolores Dye. Cradled in her arms are a pair of glowing lungs, clearly visible from underneath her flowing dress. You should kneel. No. Cold wind seeps in from the crack in the window. Snowdrifts cover the floorboards at your feet. Above you, you feel her multicolored eyes on you, inspecting you, as if under a microscope. Look up. The woman looks down at you standing there. She towers among her followers, architects, laymen, courtiers. There's a sad smile on her lips and a glint in her green-blue eye. Of what? Compassion? Remorse? She acknowledges the passing of someone who is still alive. You. It's not possible to live. As that great and desperate thought passes through your mind, the lieutenant draws an X shape across from shoulder to shoulder. Do the same. Your fingertips touch your chest 4 times. As you stand in the apricot-coloured light of the window, above you the woman still smiles her distant smile, sundered by the crack in the glass. Oh, I'm going to do both of those. How did I know this was the mother of humanism? Despite the damage you've done to yourself, the title appears lodged in your hippocampus. This is her innocence. Dolores Dye, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. Perhaps the most famous human being ever to have lived. No amount of Commodore Red can wipe her sad smile from your brain thing. It has survived the deluge that haunts you still, and will haunt you forever, as it haunts all men. Wait, what exactly isn't innocence? I've read a book, but it was fuzzy. It's the highest category of historical individual, an embodiment of world spirit. Tyrant? In a way, an innocence is elected to an office by a founding party, a precedent that has taken place a mere 6 times in the entirety of history. The legal system of the Real Belt is built from the ground up. It should accommodate inocentric rule. It should coincide with our time. I'm going to drink some tea. The glowing lungs thing is a really cool visual, like a religious symbol that's not already been done. Obviously, they just did the cross to kind of clue you into what is the real world. I'm assuming none of this actually glues precisely to the real world, but they're using real world languages, like there's Spanish in there and stuff, and French. We're clearly in Europe. That was clearly American walking outside there. But the cross is, I mean, fairly obvious symbol, and I'm surprised some bastard took the cross as a symbol. Like, you can't have just 2 lines that aren't parallel as a symbol. That's just cheating. You know, and innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one, I mean, this doesn't track 100% at all, like, obviously, but, I mean, yeah. And innocence is infallible. The decisions made by one are not decisions, they are inevitabilities. What would have happened anyway, only accelerated, packed into decades instead of centuries. And innocence is a continuous, compressed event, a sacred human being. It is the honour and glory to live when one is in office. So it's more like it's a pope, I'm guessing. Is one in office now? No, we are alone. But not a continuous thing. Okay, when did she rule? 300 years ago. In the wake of the discovery of this isola, the Insuladian, by explorers from the continent of Mundi, she is, among other things, the innocence of intersolary travel and the connected world. What else do I know about her? Many things. You know she was a woman of the court, the wife of an influential marchioness, and eventually the principal advisor to Irene la Navigateur, Queen of Suriname, the modern-day Sulla Clef. Also, she was gorgeous beyond beauty. Draped in ancient sadness, you are sure you want to remember this bit of historical trivia? Standing under her long, slender form like this, dwarfed. Where is this coming from? Past. It's also a silo of sadness, fermenting. You should keep away. No, you must know. Okay, what else? Was she smart? Terribly. Women of the court were expected to play both contract bridge and chess sufficiently well to prove an interesting challenge to a man. A similar grasp in matters of philosophy, theology, and science was encouraged. She was, by all means, a kept woman. She made the most of her position in the ante-Delorian court. I mean, obviously none of this tracks to Pope, but a court, but like it's sufficiently complex and religious, and yeah, let's not try and connect this to the real world. I think it borrows things, but it's not 100%. A court visited by the most prominent thinkers and artists of the day in secret. He was becoming of the era's preeminent philosopher of the state, a scalpel, a piercing gaze. He was almost a preternaturally magnetic and intelligent individual. To her contemporaries, she appeared out of time, a messenger from the future of the species. We all fell in love with her, head over heels. Even before she was declared an innocence, her influence was tremendous. How come? It was on her advice that Irene La Navigateur sponsored a number of voyages into the Pale, a costly, often tragic endeavour, ultimately vindicated by the discovery of the new world, a piece of reality you're standing on. She was crowned 2 years after the first expedition returned, setting in motion what is widely considered the greatest era in history, the DeLorean era. Wow. Wow indeed. When her innocence was declared, and the queen she had advised for years fell on her knees before her, she was so overcome with emotion that her lungs started glowing in her chest. Bystanders reported glowing filaments lighting the already sunlit chamber around her, clearly visible beneath her dress. This is why her lungs are the symbol for love of cultures of the Real Belt. Was there something terrifying about her? Terrifying is a term too emotionally charged for your semantic memory, or what remains of it, but terrifying is a simple word. She was bad for humanity, and you shouldn't have started thinking about her. No, there was something bad about her. I want to know. You already do. Although she was often considered the greatest human being ever to live, there was something ominous about Dolores Dye, constantly surrounded by her therias. She was the most socially secluded and least self-aware of the innocences. Some modern thinkers would consider her a war criminal for the campaign she waged against the Mesk state, that there were resettlement programs. What happened? The Mesk state tried to detach itself from innocentric rule. Parts of the world were... So this is like a crusade, essentially, I'm guessing. We're experiencing whiplash from the accelerating into secularism. Mandatory education programs and mass resettlement of upstream Maghreb were problematic as well. Dissenters were suppressed by the military force she called the Army of Humanity, suggesting that those who fight against it are not a part of humanity. She adored chess, yes, but also military war games. Dolores Dye often holds a tiny tin soldier between her index finger and thumb, as in icons such as this. She was also blonde, the blondest woman you have ever seen, with green eyes the colour of Pisantic Mare Interregnum. Little is known of her Marchese husband. It's as if he vanished from history after completing his role, which is to introduce Dolores Dye to the court. In conclusion, yes, there is something lonely, paranoid, and even terrifying about that the people seldom mention but feel when they think of her. Subtle terror is a part of her iconography. Lieutenant Yefrater, you've stood there for over 5 minutes. The lieutenant's calm voice echoes in the cold air of the church. What are you thinking of, if I may ask? Why did we tolerate with this bourgeoisie woman that long before we shot her? Reconstruct the cracked glass. Yes! A jigsaw of broken shards falls into place in front of you, a ghostly reconstruction of the stained glass window. Before it was shattered, there was an older woman beneath the younger one, and text light motif below them both. Who is this older woman? The escutcheon, I don't know how you pronounce that word, on her throne says Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing a thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden Reichsapfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen, her innocence die, advised above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, Theriers, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail. The motto, what does it say? Below, both women in luminous black letter, Après la veille morte, après la mort, la veille de nouveau. And then along the left side, après le monde, la grise, après la grise, le monde de nouveau. Again, after life, death. After death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This is a great leitmotif of humanism, a summary of the effect of the discovery of the isola, the insuladion of human thinking, a tremendous sea change akin to finding life after death. Who shattered? Lieutenant, this used to say life after life, death after death, life again, he nods. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. The exaltation is common in the Dolores sacralism. In the early years it was incorporated into the RCM slogan. No more, however. Why? It was deemed subservient to the strongly Moralington-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was a macho thing. What is the RCM motto now? Justice, union, prudence, and force. Not very feminine. Not at all. Who shattered this mosaic? Unknown. A motor carriage? A gunshot? Someone falling into it? Or maybe hooligans looking for something to break? Step back. The mother of humanism towers above you, a wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression. This is Dolores Dye. The old woman in the village was right. He looked around. This must be the Dolorian Church of Humanity in Martinez, or a small pinewood church in some records. You knew of the place. It's a minor What? It's a minor landmark, not easy to find. Let's drink some more tea. It's going to get cold. He lowers his voice. It was built not long after Revachol's founding, 300 years or so, by first-generation settlers on the coast of an uninhabited archipelago, where the only animals that had roamed before, in the wild weeds. What else do you know? There used to be 7 stave churches on the coast. Les Sept Sœurs, they call them 7 sisters. Only one remains. The rest were burnt in the Revolution, or used for building materials. We should be respected here. Although the buildings appear to be deserted, I do not believe we'll find the instigator here. Something else, perhaps. He looks at the machinery lying around. Respectful? Is the lieutenant a follower of Dolorianism? A pang of guilt? The lieutenant is leaving something out. You know why it was abandoned? I have a theory, yes. There's a pause. Then he continues. There was a police raid a while back. I heard the place was shot to pieces. The old woman in the village said was being tactful with us when she didn't mention it. She has more respect for the RCM than many around here. Who conducted this raid? Well, your station was involved, I hear, although I can't be sure. How come a lieutenant isn't sure? Is this confidential information? You're not sure? 3 precincts were involved in the raid. People say Precinct 41 was one of them. I guess I could have been here? I'm sorry, I'm not saying you were. There's a pause. It was a clandestine operation. I don't know anything about it. Why it was conducted or who participated, I try not to pry into extra-district matters. If I was here, I should find out what I was doing. Proceed. Good luck. You will not get information on a confidential operation from your station secretary just by calling. If you really don't remember, it might be better to keep this one forgotten. It happened a while ago. It's unimportant to our business in Martinez. Kim, are you a follower of Dolorianism? Yes, we all are. Her name, body, and rule are synonymous with humanism. The laws we enforce are Dolorian in origin. I didn't think you were spiritual. It's not spiritual, it's constitutional. The DeLorean system does not demand faith, only accordance. Stroke your chin first. The woman looks in by silence, smiling enigmatically. What? Smiling enigmatically. I don't like her. She looks like a lever. I have no idea what you mean by that. We've been standing here long enough. We should look around or get out. Let's turn away. Hey, our innocents, Dolores, die like little figurines, right? Like holding little men between her fingers, remember? What? You have Headless Fallen Rider figure. You should give it to her. Win her back. What? Look around. Win who back? I can't win her back. She's a long-dead historical figure. Don't be so pessimistic. Love doesn't die that easily. This isn't funny. You have a bad feeling about this one. Yes, I should, yes. This is a task of mine now. So very, very nifty and mysterious. This is surely what the figurines are for. Okay, this is a weird task, but... looks like I can't give this figurine to her. Why? Because she's a stained glass window. That does seem to be a problem. Maybe you meant something else. Like what? Is the task still on? I don't know. What are we thinking of? Part of your mind has gone on to other things already. Only a strange little sadness remains. Mother of humanism towers above you. A wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression. Okay, what the hell is that task? Okay, I've got to give myself Dolores Die a figure. But I probably shouldn't because it's a terrible idea. Okay.
What is it?
I didn't break anything, did I?
You just printed out my personal log and wasted some paper.
Does not look like a big loss to her. Hey, are you the lead programmer of Wirral Untethered by any chance?
Or no, not
You
anymore. That project is dead.
Doesn't seem surprised to be recognised. Rather sad. Something passes over her face before she straightens her back. Sorry, but who are you? What are you doing here?
I am Sona Lukanen Kilde, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident and RSA radios. I have over 16 years of programming experience and I'm proficient in both Vox and Orbis languages. If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how can I help you.
Returns back to the terminal. Did she say over 16 years of experience? She must have started programming when you were still a teenager. Have you seen the crab man? No. But you know he's around? Yes. He's seen you. And the crab man has seen you. I don't care. I don't care about the crab man. He barely looks up, now tinkering with the machine's printer. Wow, she really doesn't. Not afraid, this one. Have you seen anyone suspicious? Say a woman named Ruby. What? No. No one suspicious around here. She has not seen her sire, 'tis true. Why, there's so many machines in this place. I brought them here. They are my machines. Please don't touch anything. Why do you need an antenna? I use an AR-1 as my REM Prefect processing unit. REM Prefect? That's your radio computer, right? Mm-hmm. And that antenna is processing unit? Yes, she sighs. You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you? She's stopped working now. No, I'm a master circuit render. I know everything. Then you certainly know all the radio computers perform operations on air. So in order to gain more processing power, you need to invest in a good antenna. Wait, what's on air? On the front. The unified front of radio waves. Licensed and controlled by Lintel, the East Insuladic region. It's all around us. She waves her hand. That's what on air means. Like love. And the AR-1? Is it a good antenna? She stops to think. I guess it is. So far I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinez is an unstable region with bad coverage, and the operation has been surprisingly stable. But it's not the cheapest one on the market, so I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Fraser 100, It's Fraser, not Fraser. It's a foolproof line for civilians. Anyway, she turns back to her terminal. You should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, compare the prices. There are many milios, I don't know how you pronounce that word, dedicated to that sort of thing. I like telling you this. It calmed her nerves. What are you doing with your radio computer? I'm working. The machine seems almost alien with its pulsing core, the light casting her face in a strange shadow. Working on what? Could you... She closes her eyes. Could you just... Shh, for a moment. We'll get to the point. I really need to focus on something. Not just rudeness. It's something hard to concentrate. Really hard to concentrate on whatever she needs to do and you're not helping. Isn't your REM Prefect radio computer made exclusively for government use? So you do know something about computers. She looks up, almost proud of you. You're right, Prefect is used mostly by government creeps. And you work for the government? No, I don't. So why do you have it? She inhales sharply, before answering in a single breath. Because I needed something good for my investigation, and REM Civic is widely agreed to be below all standards, so I had to upgrade. Besides, owning a REM Prefect isn't such a big deal anymore. No, actually, it is kind of a big deal. You don't see REM Prefects in every police department, for example. How did you get your hands on it? I know a friend of a friend who used to freelance for the Coalition, she says nonchalantly, scratching her ear. I was actually aiming for a military-grade REM Rational series, but I couldn't find one. You've had a glowing machine. Prefect is mainly based on the same technology as REM Civic, so it's kind of a rip-off, but it does have better compatibility with newer antenna models, so I won't complain. What about those bowls of water over there? They are connected to my REM Prefect, she looks up. Whatever you do, please don't move them, okay? Thanks. Short and terse, there you have it. Whatever she's using them for, they're hers. Right, I'll try not to touch anything. Next question. Great. She dwells back into the glowing terminal. What are you doing in this abandoned church? You really like these questions, don't you? There's a hint of amusement in her tired eyes. I'm a police officer. It's my job to ask questions. I'm concluding a scientific research here. You can't throw me out, she says, ready to stand her ground. What research? I'm looking for the location of the 2mm hole in the world. Wait, what? She's looking for the disruption in the radio waves. That's what her personal log says. Lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. Is this hole connected to the data loss in your journal? Yes, that's what led me here. He stares at the burnished antenna on the nearby table, but I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than that. A hole in the world? What does that mean exactly? Exactly. What does it mean? There's something frantic about her as she locks up her gaze with you. Eyes shining like pearls. Up to now it's been impossible to say what it is, but because it's impossible to measure nothing. What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have? How do you measure something that does not exist? You're suddenly absorbed in the conversation, waiting for your answer. Easy, you measure it by the world around it. You measure it by collecting data on its surroundings, on that which exists. Exactly. She nods. Very true. That's what I've been aiming for. That's why I have these basins. I've tried using hydro-transducers to record the silence to find out where it begins. Ah, hydro-transducers. That's what those water basins are. Devices for recording sound through water. Sorry. But honestly, it's not progressing very well. She goes silent. Staring at her circles of basins, it looks like some ancient ritual. Do you have any idea where this hole might be located? Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume. She looks up, eyes trying to pierce the black heights above, but without much success. Only a faint crisscross of rafters can be made out from the dark, most of the tower disappearing into the shade. Strange things flourish in the dark. Why there? There's a place at the back of the church, a place where all the audible vibrations seem to decease. I've named it the Swallow. The higher you go, the less you record. The Pillar of Silence. Are you sure it's not just an architectural quirk? Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place. This is where the Crabman lives. I know. You think the Crabman might be somehow responsible here? No, I don't. She sounds mildly annoyed by this line of questioning, her hands typing hundreds of commands into the machine. I should be at the end, but I may as well finish this conversation. You said the research isn't going well. Why not? Because it's just trial and error trying to locate the Swallow, the exact point in space. I don't And I don't have... She stops mid-sentence. You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work. That's all I wanted to know about the scary 2mm hole in the world for now. Right, I'll let you work in peace for now. And I'll let you go. I'll let you in peace for now as well. What? I've been John Proxy. I've been having... Well, you're now leaving the proximity in my Disco Elysium adventure. Thank you. Thank you for watching.